Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships. I speak from my own point of view, being a survivor from 2 narcissistic relationships. So this is as the male being the narcissist and the female being the empath. I also include ways in which you can heal, as well as looking at what I've been through. It's my journey. So please understand that my previous relationship, one has been where the narcissist left me and the other one where I left the narcissist. So we'll look at different areas over time. Today's video is rumination, nightmares and your health around the narcissist. Before I begin though, I'd just like to ask you to click the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Also, the videos are for information and education purposes only. So rumination, this is when we think constantly in our mind about what's going on, and we think constantly about the narcissist and how they have affected us in our life. Perhaps if they've left us, we want to speak to them. We want to find out why they left, what went on. And these are the thoughts that go around our mind. What did we do wrong? Where did we go wrong? And it never stops. It's just this constant chatter in our mind that goes on and on. How do we stop it? Time is the biggest factor here for stopping this rumination. But there are different things we can do as well, such as making a list of all the negative things that the narcissist in our life did, as well as a list of the positive things. And you should find that the list of negative is much longer than the list of positive. And every time you feel these ruminations, you feel this sadness coming on, you feel this need to want to speak to them. Look at this list of negative things. Remember all the bad things that they did to you. Because even if they come back to you and even if you take them back, they will still do the exact same things again. Nightmares around the narcissist, and I've had a few, and they can be really distressing. And there's nothing you can do to stop a nightmare, is there? If it happens, it happens. And this is your brain working in the subconscious to bring out all of these issues and to bring them to the fore. Now, I've had a few dreams, but the one that really affected me the most was right at the beginning after he left. If you've seen The Shining, you'll know what I'm referring to. There's a scene in The Shining where Jack Nicholson, the character he plays is Johnny, uses an axe to break through the door, and his face comes through the door and he says, "Here's Johnny." And in this dream I had, my next put his head around the door and said, "Here's mm-mm." And I woke up with a start thinking that he was actually there. He wasn't. He'd left by that time, but old memories sticking in the present and coming out, it's what dreams are made to do. So I suggest having a dream journal if you can, writing down your dreams, recording them in as much detail as you can. There are many different sites on the internet where you can go to interpret dreams. So have a look at what those interpretations are. But if you are dreaming of your next, it's probably to do with the pain and suffering that you have been through. So try not to look too deeply at any sort of weird explanations for it. The explanation is pretty simple. You're trying to work this out in your mind. You're trying to figure out why they left, what you did wrong. And you're going to ask yourself that often with the rumination. What did you do wrong? And I can tell you now, you didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that you did wrong was be with this person. But at the time, you didn't know that that was wrong. So don't beat yourself up. You are not guilty. You are worthy. You deserve to be treated better. And I want you to remember that, because so often in this time of rumination and this time of overthinking, our mind goes to this, I wasn't good enough. I must have done something wrong. I deserved this. You didn't. You didn't deserve this. The narcissist was using you for your supply. You were a perfectly imperfect human being. That's what you need to remember. Perfectly imperfect. You had feelings for this person. You loved them. You loved them. They may not have loved you. They may have told you they did, but whether they felt that or not is a different thing. They loved you in their own way, which from a narcissistic point is they were taking supply from you. They were getting the energy that they needed in order for them to exist from you. So if you can, when you're in this space, seek therapy. And I know here in the UK it's difficult. Waiting times on the NHS are incredibly hard. So I would suggest looking at different routes you can go through. Have a look at social media. There are some support groups on social media that you could perhaps talk to. But the best advice you're going to get is from a therapist. The Freedom Program is also something you could have a look at. I think if you contact abused women's sites, such as the Elm Foundation, you should be able to find somewhere that does teach the Freedom Program, especially if you've had a very physically abusive, narcissistic, traumatic relationship. It will help you to realize and understand and break away from that. And I know it's hard. I do, believe me. I have been there recently and I'm still going through the process. The main thing that you need to try and find, if you can, is a friend who will hold space for you. Now, holding space means that they will listen to you without judgment. They will hear what you have to say. They will pay attention and they will give you the sympathy and the empathy that you need. Because you probably need somebody to say to you, it's okay, you're going to be fine. And you're going to need somebody to say, I love you. You are worthy. You are good enough. So if you do have a good friend who you can speak to, ask them to hold space for you. Ask them not to say, well, you need to forget them, you need to get over it, because that's not going to help you. That's enabling the narcissist, and you don't need that right now. Right now, you need somebody just to hug you, just to take you and hug you tight and close and say, it's going to be all right. You are going to get through this. And videos such as mine, other channels out there online, they will help you find somebody who you feel comfortable with, somebody you feel comfortable with listening to. Perhaps there's a support group in your area, or you may even want to set one up in your area for women who have been through narcissistic abuse. The rumination is so difficult to get rid of, isn't it? It just constantly swirls in our mind, and it's difficult to switch off. What I would suggest is, if you're not sleeping at night, which I have severe insomnia problems and had them before this whole situation. So if you do have insomnia or any other sleeping problems, I can suggest meditation for you, listening to things like binaural beats or green noise. I found green noise to be really, really good. There are also guided meditations on the internet. I do have 3 meditations that I have on my site. So if you go to the playlist section underneath the video, you can find 3 of those meditations that you might want to try. I will be doing more meditations in the future. And all of these meditations are to help you relax and heal. So writing down your dreams as well. That's very important, I think. I've discussed that already. But if you do get to a point where sleeping is becoming impossible for you, see your doctor, see your GP, speak to them about it and see what help they can offer you. There will be times when you want the narcissist back. I know. I get it. I do. I understand. I've been there. And you'll probably think to yourself, well, was it that bad? Did that much really happen? Guys, my advice to you is really look at that list of negativity that you've written down. All those things that they did to you in your life, in your time with them, those negative things, whether they physically hurt you, they berated you, they gaslighted you, they ignored you, they treated you like dirt, they pushed you into this sort of mental disarray that you're in at the moment because they were treating you so badly. Do you really want that in a relationship? Love is supposed to be about respecting each other, about treating each other well, not about treating the other person like a doormat. So really think about the fact, do you want them back? And try to avoid, I know it's hard, try to avoid contacting them and asking them, will you come back? I want to speak to you and so on, because maybe they will. And maybe you think that's a good thing, but It may last for a few weeks and then it will go back to being the way it was again. And it may be a shorter time frame, but do you really want to live your life in that way? You need to ask yourself that. You need to be really honest with you. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to live this life of upset, misery, hurt, degradation, and gaslighting? And especially if you have children, guys, I think that I don't have children. I was not fortunate enough to be blessed with them. But if you do have children, please think about them and their health as they move forwards. Now, other areas within our health that can suffer when we are ruminating and thinking about the narcissist and the past relationship, besides lack of sleep, we can have stomach problems. This is our stress center, the vagus nerve, which is the major nerve within the body. A lot of nerve endings run into the stomach, and this can cause stomach problems such as IBS, nausea, hernias, ulcers, various problems around that side of things. So be aware that your appetite may be off. You may be the other way in that you eat too much. So some of us stop eating, and some of us eat too much. And it's going to be really difficult, isn't it, if you're either one of those people? And I get it. I understand from both sides what it's like. But try to live a healthy life. Try to add in exercise into your day. Try to add in some sort of connection to other people. And I know, again, the narcissist has probably isolated you from your friends, from your family. It's time to try and get back those connections. So reach out just to one friend at a time. Say, hi, do you want to come round for coffee? It may be difficult for you to go out. Perhaps you're suffering with really high anxiety and hypervigilance, and I know that I do, or I was, and I'm slowly healing from that. So get a friend to come round and see you. Don't be afraid of your friend coming round either. And I know if you're the same as me, it'll be, well, the house is a mess, I'm a mess. The friend doesn't care. The friend just wants to see you and wants to make sure that you are okay. So bear that in mind. You'd do the same if it was the other way around. You know that. So putting your health first, putting your family first if you have one, and putting yourself first, very important. And I know it's hard because some days you'll be stuck in this rumination, and I call it the overwhelm, where you're stuck, you can't move, you can't do anything. And don't beat yourself up about it. Accept it, live through it. It's fine. It's going to happen. It happens to me. It still happens to me. There are days when I just can't function, and that's perfectly okay. Remember, you are imperfectly perfect. You're a human. You're not a machine. You can't be the same as everybody else, and different people will react differently to these kind of relationships. So don't beat yourself up if your friend Alice down the road is healing, but you are not, or your friend Diane down the other road is ill and really suffering. We all have our own healing methods, our own time frames to work through, and time is the biggest healer. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know you want to hear that this will be quick and you can get over this quickly. But it's all about fixing you now, putting yourself first. That person is gone. Let them go. Let them be. Try not to contact them again. Try not to have them in your life anymore. Try to be just you and heal you. Know that you are good enough. And I say this a lot in my videos because the narcissist brings us down and makes us feel guilty for things that we haven't done, makes us feel guilty if we haven't done something that they wish we'd done, and makes us feel unworthy, unloved, and that we are not good enough. But you are good enough. You are a beautiful person within that body, and you need to find that and embrace that again. So if you've enjoyed the video, please click like, subscribe and share. If you'd like to be notified of upcoming videos, click the notification bell. And I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.